Welcome back, Rankers. We found something disturbing yesterday here in the office. Well, actually, Kriegsy did. Joel Kriegsman. We were looking for at the competitive nature of wedding-related phrases. So we did the search for wedding, and this particular site, wedding.com.au, is number one. And I said to Joel, well, let's have a look at the code, and let's see if we can find where the H1s are on the page. So we had a look at the code like this, and then we simply put H1 down in here in the search field. We said next, and we've got this one here. So then we grab this text, and we go and have a look for this text on the page. So we just move this source out of the way, go and have a look for it on the page, and we go Control F again and put our words in there, and of course it's nowhere to be found. So then Joel went, well that's odd. So then he went and had a look at he used Firebug, which is a plugin for Firefox to help you look at your code and diagnose faults and bugs and all those sorts of things. And we just, well I say we, but it was Joel. He just drilled down into the code until we got to that same piece that I was just showing you. And what we found was, there's the H1. And then we just highlight that there. And then, of course, on this side of the Firebug, it tells us where it is in the CSS, what this particular div class is referring to. And we can see here that we've got height of 0, line height equals 0, and visibility equals 0. And what Joel did is he just switched off that. He switched off that. And he switched off that. And he switched off that. Now you can see up here, we've got something completely different. So we thought, wow, that's Blackhat. It doesn't get any more Blackhat than that, really. Well, it does. You know, essentially, you were trying to hide something from the users, but show it to the search engines, which is what that site's doing. So, taking that into account, we thought, wow, that's Fairfax. This is a Fairfax site. We were quite surprised because, you know, Fairfax Digital, you think a corporate like Fairfax wouldn't be indulging in such nonsense. So we thought, oh, well, maybe it's just some rogue developer at wedding.com.au was doing some Blackhat. So what I did, I just went and grabbed that little bit of text down there, Fairfax Digital Advertising Network, and we just did a search for that in Google to find other sites that maybe Fairfax owns. And what we found is we go to concreters.com.au, which is part of the Fairfax Digital Network. We find that, you know, they're doing the same thing. If we have a look at the code, and you can go and do this yourself if you have time. H1, look for the next H1, and we can see here, you know, we've got the same sort of HTML sitting there. And when we go and check this against the CSS, they're doing the same thing. They're hiding the text from the user, but showing it to Google. Now, Samuth, one of the other guys here, he went and checked how many domains Fairfax owns, and it's over 30,000 domains. And as we can see here, you know, the work that I've just done for this search, we'll just whittle this down a bit. We can see that, you know, business.com.au, we've gone and checked that one. Same thing, hiding text. I dare say that if we went to most of these that are finance broker, lawyers, all of these sites, they're all part of this advertising network. And without going and looking at them all, my guess would be is that we're going to find a similar Blackhat technique going on with SEO. And that's against Google's terms of service. The reason it's against Google's terms of service is because Google wants to show, wants to be able to see the site that you're showing the user, so they can accurately represent that site to their users. They don't want the users going to a site that doesn't look anything like the one that the bot sees. So In the past, Google has booted companies out of the index for this sort of technique. I don't know what they're going to do with Fairfax. If anything, if they don't do anything, that's pretty bad, because 30,000 URLs, and we can see here that there's at least 2.9 million pages with that phrase is part of the OMG and Fairfax Digital Advertising Network. 3 million, sorry, 3 million. So there's 3 million pages out there, and that technique that I showed you, it's in the header of the pages. So my guess would be is that technique will be on about 3 million pages within the Fairfax network, and that's a sizable digital advertising network. So if Google does decide to boot them out, which I think they should take some action, certainly downgrade all those pages that have that technique on them, maybe not boot them out of the index, that's going to have a significant impact, I would have thought, on Fairfax digital advertising revenue. Anyway, watch this space. If you're not happy with it, go and have a look for it yourself. I mean, I haven't had a look at taxrefunds.com.au, I haven't had a look at canberra.com.au and all these other sites, but I'm sure there's more of it there. And that was the special edition for this week, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks very much. Bye.